Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Normal Days. I'm your host, Guillermo. This is episode 16 and also the last episode for 2019. Thank you to everybody who has been listening to these conversations. I appreciate all the support. This month's guest is an artist who's no stranger to the LA Underground and an ambassador for the Underground for sure. Force Placement is a DJ, producer, and performer from the Los Angeles area. He is part of the Black Lodge Collective. The Black Lodge, and I quote, is organized around exploring, sharing, and experimenting with diverse forms of electronic music and other esoteric arts. We are the resistance. I have had the chance to see Force Placement play several times, but this was the first time chatting with him. In the episode, you will hear Force Placement talk about his musical upbringing, the time he got into drum and bass, raving in the 90s, meeting DJ Stingray, and the Black Lodge's mission with founder Cosmic. The guest mix was curated by Force Placement, and it is an all-vinyl mix, first of a kind for Beyond Normal Days. Make sure to support his recent tape out on 100% Silk. It can be found on Bandcamp. Follow Force Placement on Facebook and Bandcamp at Force Placement, on Instagram at FPlace85, and on Twitter at JasoniusFunk. Follow the Black Lodge on social media to stay updated for future events and music releases. They can also be found on Bandcamp. Make sure to follow Beyond Normal on Facebook and Instagram at Beyond Normal Official and on Twitter at BeyondNormal_. Follow me on Instagram at Guillermo.bn and on Twitter at GuillermoBN_. Thank you all for listening, and now please welcome Force Placement. This is Beyond Normal Days. I'm here with Force Placement, aka New Sire. How's it going, man?
How you doing?
I'm
Doing
doing
well.
good. I'm doing good. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for inviting me. This is it's a very cool thing you're doing. I dig it.
Oh man, thank you. Appreciate that. That's like dope because it's like I DJ as well too, but I always like feeling the outsider perspective. Wanting to know how everybody got into this and their journey basically.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So basically, let's start off by letting the listeners know where you're from.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in the Los Angeles area, but I was born in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg. And I moved out here when I was like really young, like 2 years old. But I'm basically like raised born and raised California, but not technically. My folks are from Pennsylvania area, like Philadelphia and um, that surrounding area. So and most of my extended family is still out there, but I grew up out here in Los
Okay,
Angeles,
so
Pasadena specifically.
hey, shout out to Pasadena. My homie Roscoe is from there.
Oh hell yeah, Dina.
Did you live close to the Rose Bowl or?
My mom has a house in Altadena. So actually not too far from the Rose Bowl. I used to go running down there, and I used to play roller hockey in the parking lot and stuff. And yeah, Rose Bowl's tight. Yeah.
And like how was your upbringing? Like, well, you said what I was gonna ask you, like, what were you into growing up? But you said roller hockey, so that's something that you were into, growing up.
Yeah, I was pretty big into sports through high school. I kind of when I started partying in high school, like it kind of dropped off. stopped stopped pursuing it as much. But yeah, I used to play hockey and I used to skateboard a lot. And I don't know, I played basketball a little bit, like in junior high, but wasn't very good. But mainly skateboarding and hockey. I was pretty into hockey for a while.
And you said you were partying in high school. When did you, or what was your musical upbringing before you got into like electronic music, or was electronic music the first like maybe foundation from when you were young?
It's hard to say, man. Like my both my parents collected records. Um, had a pretty big record collection at home. Lots of jazz and funk and soul from like maybe the 60s onward. So I was always like around music. There was always music like playing in my house, I would say,
Yeah.
or just like in the car. My mom loved to listen to tapes and stuff in the car, and same with my dad. Um, they both collected a lot of music, so I like naturally when I was old enough to like have money from doing chores or whatever, I started buying tapes and CDs and stuff.
What about vinyl?
Vinyl, I didn't start collecting vinyl until I was like 17. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of early. I don't know. I had a pair of like kind of janky Stanton turntables, like belt drive turntables, and like a
Yeah.
beat up Vestax mixer that like I bought off of my friend, who actually like kind of showed me how to DJ, um, more or less. But yeah, that was like when I was like 17, and then I didn't have like I was mainly buying stuff out of the used bin at like Amoeba. Um, and then sometimes if I was able to like get down to like Melrose or Hollywood or stuff, I would go. There was a spot on Melrose Avenue called Temple of Boom that sold like drum and bass
Oh
vinyl and
wow.
stuff, and you could buy mixtapes and shirts, and you could also buy tickets for shows there too. So I went there a couple times to buy a record, but I wasn't really like a regular there. Um, But yeah, I didn't really start collecting vinyl like heavy, like the way I am now until maybe a few years after college when I was living in Santa Barbara. But
Okay.
early on in high school, I mean, I had like maybe a crate or two of like drum and bass vinyl, but like I wasn't really uh like super in the DJing yet. Um,
Yeah.
I was still mostly just like partying. So I wasn't really.
So you were
Uh,
raving in high school.
yeah, yeah. I mean, um, like I had my little crew of like skateboarder friends that I would like jam with, and like I played drums too. That was like my first instrument. I started playing when I was like 12. Um, and then when I started meeting people more like in the skateboard community, or even what you want to call it that, like a lot of them were into like the same bands as I was in, so we would form like little bands and kind of just jam out, um, play like house parties and stuff like that. Um, we were really into like new metal, really cheesy new metal, like Limp Bizkit and Corn, all that stupid stuff. But yeah, the so that younger, the people my age, like that little crew that we had, like some of their older siblings were like really into drum and bass, um, and they more or less like hanging out with them. I was like exposed to like like jungle and just from like trading CDs and whatnot. Um, and then from there, once I got my driver's license, I kind of started trying to seek those like kind of events out. There was a website, like it was like an online forum type of thing called Jungle Scene. Back then, this was like late '90s, early 2000s, where you could they like promoters and DJs would like post flyers for events. Yeah, like party info kind of thing. Um, So I would go on there, and whatever was going on that week, if I had some spare cash, I would like basically go to these parties myself. Like I was like a solo raver type of dude. Like most of my skateboarding friends, I mean they were kind of into music more or less. I mean just like bands and stuff, but as far as like the rave thing and jungle and electronic music, like that really like kind of grabbed me, and like I became kind of more obsessed with it, and they were just kind of like, oh, this is cool, but like I'm not spending $15 to go to this party with you with a bunch of DJs I've never heard of, kind of thing. I was just kind of like more like adventurous kind of deal. I don't know, like I would kind of just go, and like I didn't really talk to people at parties. I would just kind of like stand near the speakers or like towards the back. Mostly like standing near the speakers and like watching the DJ kind of deal. But like I wasn't very good at dancing. Um, what I'm saying, and I kind of stuck out because like most, I mean, you think about like I don't know when you start raving or whatnot, or most people like they go with like a large group of friends kind of deal, and most of the time it was just me. So I don't know. I kind of just kept to myself during that time, like going to parties and whatnot. But like I, it was great, getting to see, you know, drum and bass DJs and jungle DJs and stuff do their thing like firsthand. It got me like really into it. Um,
And this is in Los Angeles.
yeah, yeah. This is in LA. Um, so like I was like kind of racking my brain trying to remember some of like the earlier parties I was going to. I think maybe some of the early like bass rush parties, um, or like stuff that like Jungleist Platoon were doing. Like they're resident DJs for Respect. They have been for
Oh,
a long time. A lot of them are still doing it. It amazes me. They've been in the game for like 25, 30 years. And I
damn.
kind of when I first started raving, I was going to see these people play. So it's crazy that they're still doing it. I'm glad that like respect is still going. You know,
And
um,
do you know them?
I met Machete like is like the main guy behind it. I met him like once or twice back in the day, which is kind of like handshake, real quick. I don't really know him. Um, but yeah, like I would say my earliest like rave experiences were drum and bass and jungle and going out to that. As far as like house and techno, like when I would go to like some of like the massive quote unquote type of parties, like the big ones at like the sports arena they used to do, or like
Yeah, like the Insomniac events ones.
yeah, back when they were still doing stuff in LA before they had to move to Las Vegas. Yeah, but I went to some of those um and had some I don't know if I would say like they were great experiences at those parties. I mean, festivals are to this day there's still like a headache trying to deal with like what I'm saying, like it's kind of the worst environment for like electronic music, like on like
I guess it could sometimes be a proper introduction, but like right now, I wouldn't. I don't know. I think what my recommendation, if it's a proper introduction, is to go to like a like a warehouse party in LA or something. Like the Black Lodge. You know, so
yeah
I think that would be a proper introduction.
yeah I mean like early on for me like I kind of had an idea about like jungle and drum and bass, but as far as like the other genres and whatnot, like I mean I knew what house was and like trance and whatnot, but like techno I didn't know what that was, at that point. I didn't really have any interest in it. I was like sometimes at like those bigger parties I would kind of wander into like the main room or like the side room where like people would be playing house or trance and stuff like that, and I would hang out for a few minutes and then go back to the drum and bass room. Like at that time I was like kind of getting into like drum and bass and then also like underground hip hop and stuff here and there, going to those type of shows sometimes when I heard about them. So I was more on like that kind of continuum, not really like the house, like the four on the floor type of stuff, like house, techno, trance. I still can't get into.
Yeah, I never got into trance. I had homies who got into it, but um, just for like your perspective, I always every person I talk to, I give them a perspective so you can kind of see like when I got into electronic music. I always consider myself like a late bloomer, but not maybe late bloomer. It was like 2009, 2010.
Uh huh.
So that's when like the EDM boom was like happening, and little by little, then I started going to some underground warehouse events, and I was just like, "Oh, what is this?" Like, there's
Hmm.
way more stuff than like that. So little by little, then I just kind of started getting educated and, respecting, the scene more than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah. I mean, I mean, the EDM stuff. I've never really been able to get into. Like, I don't know when dubstep kind of became like a thing with like the smog events and stuff like that. Like I remember like once it started veering into like the bro step territory, like it just kind of it got played out like pretty quick.
and that's the thing, like, that's what I even considered it, like, the underground or just like, proper like authentic house and techno, if you want to like say authentic, it's more
Hmm.
mature. That's what I kind of like describe. Even the crowd, the crowd is like way more mature, and the people just attending in general.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you there.
And when did you actually start DJing then? Like, when did you decide you're like, what, I want to be a DJ, or I just want to mix records, even if it wasn't like a thing to do publicly, maybe just in your room.
uh, I wanted to be a DJ when I was like really young, before I started raving. Actually, like
Oh.
yeah, like well, so back, I mean, back in like the mid to late '90s. I mean, like I was listening to a lot of stuff on the radio, and kind of collecting like CDs and tapes from like bands I liked and stuff. But like I remember like on like KROQ, like they used to play um like weird like new wave stuff and minimal wave stuff like late at night, like Rodney on the Rock. Like it was like a kind of popular late night show back then, and they used to play kind of a lot of more like obscure punk, and then also like this kind of new wavy stuff. Um, so I listened to a fair amount of that, just because I had like a crappy like clock radio that my parents gave me, with an alarm clock on it. And I used to just leave it on at night and listen to that stuff.
But that's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Like, you're always like, you're always listening to something. You had music always in the background, no matter what it was.
yeah. But then I remember when like Chemical Brothers and like Fatboy Slim like became like kind of popular, like crossover from like the rave scene into like mainstream, whatever you want to call it. Like they were playing a lot of that stuff on like K Rock. Between like they'd play like a Nirvana record or a Pearl Jam record, and then you hear like block rocking beats or some shit, and it's just yeah. So when I heard specifically block rocking beats, I was like, this is, I don't know why I like this so much, because it's kind of goofy. But I
Yeah.
started like I was really into Chemical Brothers and like Fatboy Slim and stuff. So like I remember buying those CDs, and like I collected some of like the singles. Like they used to release that stuff like on CD, so I had like a small collection of like those Chemical Brothers singles. Like I know I had the Block Rockin' Beats one and a few other ones. My friends at that time, even they were still in the grunge and shit, so I would play them these like stupid like Chemical Brothers records and shit, and they'd clown me or whatever. But so this was pretty early on. I was like, yeah, I was maybe like 12 or 13 around that time. So I mean, I was pretty into that stuff, and I remember like asking my parents if I could get turntables, and then my dad was like, no, because I think he just wanted to like keep me away from like the rave shit as long as he could. 'Cause he kind of knew. So like they made me pick up an instrument, and I don't know, like from as long as I can remember when I was really young, I was always like banging on stuff around the house, like tables, like be at school, like banging on the lunchroom table or like my desk or whatever, trying to like, I don't know, just fucking make beats or whatever. So drums came pretty naturally to me. So when I asked my parents to buy me turntables, they're like, no, we can get you a drum set. So then I was like, that's cool. So then, in retrospect, my parents definitely kind of made the right choice at that point. I mean, I don't know, I definitely would have been DJing and doing stuff a lot sooner, but I feel like being like having that knowledge as like a drummer, like kind of gave me a leg up when it came to like learning how to beat match, yeah, or just producing and like making songs, making music. Like I don't know, I just, it comes more naturally to me.
Yeah, having rhythm in general. That's what I always say. Like, I feel like drummers can always make dope beats. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah.
And I still love playing. I played drums in a couple like punk bands now, like just for fun.
Yeah, I see. I see your Instagram. How you go to a lot of like rock shows or like hardcore, like punk and everything. Type of shows as well too.
Yeah, yeah. I dig it. I still like going to see bands and whatnot. As much as I love the house and techno, the electronic music. Like sometimes it's good to get a break from that and kind of branch out and go hear other types of music. And I've been in the punk like on and off since high school. Um, so yeah, once I I played in some bands when I was living in Santa Barbara when I moved up there for school and then stay up there for a few years afterwards and played in different type of bands, punk bands and whatnot. And I don't know, it's just always been something I've done in addition to the DJ stuff, just playing in bands and
Yeah.
going to hear bands and whatnot. So
And you said Santa Barbara. Is Santa Barbara really a party school? What it's rumored to be?
when I started going there as an undergrad, I think it was like the number two party school in the nation or something. And then now I don't know. I think it might have like fallen back in the charts or whatnot. um,
Damn, I know. I would just hear like, cause that it was like a mega party school, and I remember like even people talk about Halloween weekend in Santa Barbara or something like that.
oh yeah, that was a shit show, man. There's just people coming from out of town. Basically, they would
Yeah,
destroy like Isla Vista was like the little college town like next to the university, where they all the parties would be, where all the college students lived, and yeah, every Halloween a bunch of out of towners would come from L.A. or the Bay or just wherever, and they just destroy the place.
I got invited one time, but I was like, I'm just stay local.
Yeah,
And now I think about it, I'm like, it would be cool to check it out, but it's again, I said I don't want to be that outsider coming in just like and making it a shit show as well.
yeah. Um,
And
but I went to school there. I graduated in 2007. Did my fair share of partying for sure. um,
and raving at that time for sure, right? You were going to like maybe warehouse parties at that time.
um, when I was going there, um, I would drive back to LA to go to stuff like shows randomly. Um, there wasn't really much of a scene in Santa Barbara for like electronic music outside of like a few like small crews that would do like kind of outdoor parties up in the mountains or on the beach. Sometimes they would do like smaller club nights, but Santa Barbara kind of it's a small kind of sleepy beach city. There's not really a ton of venues there for electronic music or just in general. Um, so as far as the kind of stuff I was into, I would have to drive a few hours south to LA to go to warehouse
Mm.
parties or to go, see like some proper like hip hop or whatnot. So um,
Yeah, LA is always the main hub for all that. And
yeah.
do you remember like your first gig, like your first DJ gig?
Yeah, when I was in high school, around the time I got like my first pair of decks and I was like, you know, getting like kind of cheesy, like, like early 2000 drum and bass stuff from the used bin at like Amoeba. Like, I had a friend when I was in high school that was like a hip hop DJ that used to play a lot of like house parties and school dances and stuff. And he was like pretty legit. Like, he would play like almost every weekend and, he was making a lot of money doing it. But he got booked to play our high school dance, and he asked me to kind of help him out. Like, he was booked to play all night, so like whenever he needed like a little break or he needed to go to the bathroom or whatever, like he was like, "Yeah, you can throw a couple records on or whatever." And I remember him getting really pissed off at me and like kind of kicking me off the decks, sort of, because to play this high school dance, he had to play all of the like censored versions of like all the popular records, like no cussing. and whatnot. And I played like a Dr. Dre record, but I didn't play the clean version. And I remember him like running up to the booth and like turning it off like immediately, and like he was pretty mad. That guy was cool as hell though, for letting me play. But yeah, I think that was the first time I ever like played records in front of people. And and I was playing his records. I wasn't collecting like a lot of rap or hip hop at that point. Um, so yeah, I
And at
think that
that
was
time, there wasn't like Serato or no Tractor, was there? Or maybe there was, but not too
uh
sure.
so this would have been maybe 2002, I think. Um, Around that time, I didn't get a Serato box until maybe 2008 or 9. I don't know, my memory's a little foggy, but I definitely had one for a while. Um, I was still buying records at that point too, but I think a lot of people kind of made that switch around that time to digital, or to the Serato or Tractor. You know, like I remember that being kind of a big thing.
When I got into DJing, I think that was already a thing, like digital, like using like Serato or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of people started with Serato, and then I remember I would hear Tractor, but I didn't know what the difference was, and then I just thought it was a different layout. And
hmm
then I remember seeing a lot of people using Tractor as well too. But did you ever use Tractor or just Serato?
I remember trying to use it a few times at like house parties or whatever. Like I would just like bring my like USB and then like load it on someone else's laptop and try to use their setup. It never sounded good. Um, because I mean, I remember trying to play this one party with one of those like little tractor controller things, like the little box with like the buttons on it, and because I had my Serato box, but it was hooked up to my turntables, with the control vinyl and whatnot. So um, I don't remember having that much fun playing that way, but I don't know. I've seen people do cool stuff with Tractor before. I think, if I'm not mistaken, when I met the first time I saw Vikas DJ, this was maybe before I met him. He was using Tractor, but with
Oh,
the control vinyl and
oh, I know.
turntable.
Yeah, I remember. Craze DJ Craze,
Oh
the
yeah,
scratch dude,
yeah,
turntable. Yeah, he uses Tractor and he uses the control vinyl.
yeah, yeah. I know he's had some kind of partnership with them for a long time. He's like, Craze is amazing, man. I remember seeing him back in the day in high school. That guy, next level for
Is
sure.
Yeah, yeah. I remember watching his little like, and also because he was like doing dubstep, like like sets, right?
Back then, he was doing drum and bass. Thinking back to that time, like as far as like turntablists that were really kind of pushing like jungle and drum and bass, like I would have to say Craze. Definitely like RAW. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's been like a
RAW, like R like dot A dot W.
yeah. He used to make dubstep also as a six block. Amazing jungleist turntable dude. Like I remember those two specifically back in the day, seeing them and just having my mind blown. Um, yeah, Craze is real dope for sure. Yeah, but yeah, he's been big on the tractor for a while too.
And when did the idea like start formulating that you wanted to go with an alias, like actually like go as force placement? Or was there something before force placement?
There were a few aliases before. So when I was in high school and like kind of getting more into DJing and drum and bass and whatnot, I also started making beats on Fruity Loops. Um, Mainly just kind of like kind of wannabe IDM type of stuff, like weird. Well, I didn't know. really what techno and what that type of stuff was. But I was listening to a lot of. I used to collect a lot of like CDs and whatnot, like the early like Warp Records stuff, like Aphex Twin and Square Pusher and Plaid and that kind of stuff. So I'd spent a lot of time on Fruity Loops trying to make beats and like emulate that stuff. And I used to make like these weird mixtapes of like my stupid IDM beats and like give them out to friends and shit. Like on CD, I'd burn CDs for people. But I had a little alias back then. I was making music as Snow Cone. um, it was a really dumb nickname that my friend gave me. One summer, I decided to dye my hair blue, and it looked really patchy and shitty, like a snow cone. And then like that the name, yeah, the name kind of stuck. I still have pictures somewhere of me with the blue hair. It's it looked really bad. Um,
you need to make a T-shirt.
yeah. I was thinking of maybe at some point. I still have some of the older recordings from that time. Some of the IDM stuff. I was thinking of maybe trying to put together
Ooh.
a little compilation of the tracks that don't suck so much. Yeah, so I did the snow cone stuff for a little while, and then when I was in college, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try to do this under a different name. So I started doing stuff as Connect. Um, I played a few live PA. I don't know if you. I mean, they were just like laptop sets with Fruity Loops. I played a few shows like that. Maybe like 2008, 2009. This was like just out of college. Um, as Connect. Um, and it was I guess not so IDM-y, more. I don't know. I was starting to become familiar with like stuff like I guess acid house and um, kind of like grime and kind of like I don't know dark techno at that point. So I was like um, trying to like make beats and emulate that and um, also some maybe yeah also some kind of more drum and bassy IDM stuff. But I would say for a lot of the music I was making at that period, was all in the box with Fruity Loops. Um, a lot of it was poorly mixed, like it wouldn't really sound good on like big speakers or like even in your car. You know what I'm saying? So um, this was a very janky period of making music. Um, but yeah, those are my earliest aliases, I guess you could say, for music stuff. The Snow Cone and Connect. And then when I started like kind of DJing out a little bit, I used to like this was like house party stuff. Um, I went by DJ Phrase for like a few years. Um, and then also and I changed my name again to J Mess, which is just like my last name James, like without the A. For some reason, I thought that was cool. Yeah, I did that for a while, and then I changed my name to Force Placement. I want to say it was like 2011 or 2012 ish.
Oh, that's tight. I like the name. I like it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And and what does it mean?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't. All right, so I should say it has an actual like definition, meaning. It's a technical term. It's like kind of like jargon, insurance jargon. I I have uh like a full time job. I've had the same job for like maybe 10 years, just working customer service for like an insurance company. So the name comes from that. It's like a technical. It's jargon pretty much. The actual meaning is has no connection to the music or that I make or like the type of music that I present as a DJ. I just think it's more abstract and kind of coming from left field a little bit. So it's I would say it's more open to interpretation. Um, so yeah, it doesn't really have an actual meaning.
And what about New Sire?
New Sire is a noise side project that I do. It's no beats. It's like harsh noise, like experimental electronics, um, mainly made using like guitar pedals and stuff like that. It's more going for like a wall of sound, kind of like drony, atmospheric, harsh noise type of thing. That the name, the concept behind it comes from 80s hip hop, actually. Um, the name is from the lyrics to this song called Kick the Ball by this group called Crown Rulers, Crown with a K. Um, and I guess it's more loosely, it was supposed to be kind of like a abstract, kind of noisy hip hop thing. And it just kind of morphed into not using beats, but also being uh, kind of a. It's still a hip hop project in a way because a lot of the source material I use for like the drones and stuff is like samples and snippets from like 80s and 90s hip hop songs that like I I manipulate and time stretch into like different sounds that I kind of mix in with the noise. Um, so yeah, it's I would consider it a hip hop project, but if you ever hear it or hear me play it, there's nothing really hip hop about the sound. It's just kind of it's really loud and kind of it's kind of psychedelic, tripped out, like harsh noise stuff.
Your homie, I'm not sure what his name is, but he sent me some of his like noise type stuff. I know he's part of the Black Lodge.
Oh, was it
Um,
was it Matt?
let me see if I can. I think so.
Uh,
What's his DJ name or his artist name?
Simonowski. He's really good at it. I've been kind of trying to nudge him a little bit to like maybe release it or do something with it, but I think I don't want to speak for him, but I think he's more kind of just like it's more like a meditative type of thing for him, like making it and listening back to his music and stuff. Um, I think I don't know, but he's really good at it. I love his ambient stuff. I went to his house to jam a couple weeks ago, and he played me a bunch of that stuff, and he's got a lot of it, and it's all really good. So yeah, he's really killing it on the ambient tip right now. Shout out to Simonowski. Hell yeah.
You were saying that like when you were like did couple, I mean, you were going through a couple aliases that when you started getting to, or you got introduced to like acid house and like that dark techno. Do you remember the moment when you got introduced to Detroit and the techno history that it comes with?
Um, that came later. That came much later. Maybe 5 or 6 years. It was around the time I met Vikas that I kind of became more aware of like Detroit techno, um, and that sort of history and lineage. There was a documentary. It was a really good documentary, by the way, if you haven't seen it, called "Pump Up the Volume."
Yes,
Um,
I have. Yes.
yeah, it's on YouTube. Seeing that documentary, maybe God, um, this must have been like 2010, something like that. Around that time, it kind of opened my eyes a bit because that documentary gets pretty deep as far as kind of presenting like a timeline, from like Chicago and New York and Detroit all the way up through like UK garage, I believe. Um,
Yeah, it does. It goes pretty in depth. And it's like the how you said timeline. It's yeah.
yeah. So seeing that and then like meeting Vikas later and then kind of trading music with him and just hanging out with him and whatnot uh, gave me more of a sense of like the history behind that music and Detroit techno and whatnot. Yeah, I'm really into it. I went to Detroit a couple years ago in 2017. Um, I went to Movement for my first time, and yeah, it was incredible.
Wait,
Yeah,
2017? I think
yeah.
that I went that year as well too.
Oh, you did?
Um, the underground stage, did Drum Cell play?
I think yeah, drum solo play, but I didn't see him. I saw Helena Hoff. I saw Ectomorph play live.
Oh no, I don't think I went to that one then, because I don't see Helena Hoff. Because I remember I think the last day, Truncate and Ben Sims closed.
Oh,
Not sure if you saw
cool.
that.
Yeah, Truncate's dope.
Yeah, you know him. I'm guessing, like personally.
I've met him and played gigs with him a couple times. I wouldn't say that I know him super well. He played Black Lodge
Oh,
once
okay.
back when we were still doing it at Hyperion Tavern, and then Vikas and I
Oh
also played a show with him at Into the Woods. I want to say it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was Truncate headlining with Jared Wilson. Do you know who Jared Wilson is?
no. Oh, Gerald Wilson with the G? No.
No, no. Jared
Never
Wilson
mind.
with a
No.
J. He's a Chicago acid house dude. He's really good.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah. So yeah, Vigas and I opened for Truncate that night. But yeah, I don't know him super
And
well, but I have played with him, and yeah,
you've played a lot of like LA notable parties. And you said Into the Woods, then of course the Black Lodge, and you've played Soft Leather before, correct?
I've never. Oh, actually, yes, I have. Very very early on.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Somebody said he's like, yeah, I saw Force Placement play at Soft Leather like before it was like crazy big or something like that. Like in the
Yeah,
beginning, like of Soft Leather. I'm like, oh shit.
yeah. At that point, I think it was still a club night. They were doing it at Station 1640 in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I've played their party before. Um, yeah, I think when Black Lodge first started, we kind of made it a point to kind of reach out to people in the community that we thought were dope, that were doing you know similar minded stuff, like party wise. So we kind of linked up with a lot of like resident DJs from like other crews, and other groups of people throwing parties, that we like liked and respected, and then so we have kind of we've formed like relationships with a lot of like people that are doing these like other kind of bigger parties, quote unquote, over the years. So like a lot of them have been guests at the Black Lodge at one point or another, um, or vice versa. But yeah, I would say that it definitely stems from that, from collaborating
And
with the Black Lodge stuff.
yeah, yeah. And you what can you tell the listeners about like what the Black Lodge, for the people who don't know what it is?
Yeah, Black Lodge is a monthly event series, or gathering, if you will, that we do at well, it's a warehouse party series now, but um, at the very beginning we were doing it at a bar in Echo Park called Hyperion Tavern. Um,
Okay.
and it's kind of branched out from there into like a warehouse party kind of thing. Mainly, well, it used to be like just DJ focused, but it's kind of grown into encompassing like performances from like live electronics artists and whatnot. Um, the stylistically, it kind of runs the gamut from like Detroit techno, Chicago acid house, industrial, but also like a lot of like kind of left field mutant electronic stuff like minimal wave or industrial EBM. We've had noise and ambient stuff as well. Um, so yeah, it's stylistically it's very diverse. Um, I would say like first and foremost, it's more music focused. Um, it's not really the type of party where you'll see a lot of like elaborate decorations or like crazy installations or whatnot. Or it's primarily about presenting like kind of more underground type of dance music in like a setting where the people that are there will be able to kind of lose themselves in it. um, and yeah, they're typically late night parties, go until 5 or 6 in the morning. um, and yeah, they're like I said, they're mainly warehouse parties now. Before it was a club night, if you will, that we did at a small bar, but we kind of outgrew that venue. Um, so yeah, happy to be going strong in 2019. We're gonna have our 5 year anniversary, I think, next year in March. So yeah,
Oh, wow, 5 years. Okay,
yeah,
March 2020.
mm-hmm,
And he said like you guys are going strong, and like the cool thing is that you guys have artists that are like underground resistance, like OGs, classic, you know artists, and the prices are fair. So that's cool. Like was that always the thing to keep it like that? Like to not be overpriced, if you want to say like air quotes, or I'm saying air quotes overpriced, um, but the prices are always fair. Like you always like for these dope lineups.
yeah. I mean, um, I should say first and foremost that like 90% of the Black Lodge stuff is Vikas, who I also DJ with, but he runs the Black Lodge. It's his concept, and his movement, more or less. But yeah, as far as keeping the ticket prices down, I think that's definitely been something that we've always tried to do. Nobody really likes to spend $40-$50 to go to a party. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
it's become very cost prohibitive sometimes to go and have a night out. And we like to offer an alternative to that, and make it more affordable so that people can afford to come. And I think
And then even the artists that you guys have, it looks like they have a bunch of fun.
yeah, yeah, we just try to keep it, have kind of an environment that it's comfortable for our artists to come through and play, and comfortable for the dancers and people that come through to the party to experience the music. Yeah, so I would say, past guests, they always say that they have a great time playing, and we try to maintain an environment where that's where people can be comfortable. So yeah.
I dig that. And who's all part of the Black Lodge?
So yeah, as I said, first and foremost, Vikas, aka DJ Cosmic. He is he's the main persona behind it. Also myself and Matt. aka DJ Simonowski, who we mentioned earlier. So yeah, the three
Yes.
of us are primarily the group behind Black Lodge.
What
But
about Trey? Ask Trey Jenkins. Is he part of the Black Lodge?
Trey is a recurring guest that we've had. He's played the Black Lodge three times, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and yeah, he's just a good friend of ours, and we like collaborating with him. And we've released some of his music as well. We have a label, Black Lodge Recordings, and Trey had a track on the first compilation EP that we did under his Brown Irvin alias. That's on the first Black Lodge compilation EP. So yeah, he's always been kind of a good friend, or part of the Black Lodge family, so to speak. Um, yeah, but he's not a resident. He's just a good friend of ours, and a previous guest. Um, but yeah, big shout out to Trey, as Trey Jenkins, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, big fan. I love his stuff. He's crazy good.
Yeah, man.
And who makes the flyers for the Black Lodge parties? Because
Uh,
I love them. Like I've kept some of the flyer. Like I'm guessing you do flyering as well too, or some of you guys just do flyering at parties, correct?
um, outside of a few um, of the flyers, Vikas has done most of the flyers, 90% of them. He does them himself.
Okay.
He's kind of a mastermind with the flyers.
I think I went to a roost party and I was walking back to my car and I had one in my window and I'm
Uh,
like, ooh, I'm keeping this. This is fresh.
I was probably the douchebag that put that in your window. So,
That same day, I had finished Subversive's interview, and then we went to the party, and then
oh,
I was
cool.
and he had pulled out his little manila folder of, old school flyers, and literally when I got pulled out the Black Lodge flyer, I was like, "Dude, I need to start collecting as well too." So, I have it in my manila folder,
Oh, hell yeah. Cool,
so
man.
thank you. You're good,
Yeah,
you're good, no worries.
hell yeah, for sure.
You also there's a Black Lodge radio though too, right?
Yeah, so Vikas started doing the Black Lodge radio thing maybe a little over a year ago. Um, Possibly longer than that. I have trouble keeping track of dates and time sometime sometimes. But yeah, it's on Sutro FM. I believe he does it every other Sunday or something like that.
It airs every first and third Sunday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah,
Pacific
yeah, that's it.
Standard
Yeah.
Time.
Um, and yeah, Vikas is mainly handling that himself. I so usually if he doesn't have a guest on there, it's usually just him playing. Um,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, he's been doing that for a little over a year now, maybe longer. But yeah, it's
Okay. That's
on
tight.
Sutro FM. Um, our other friend Michael Silva is running the online station, the Sutro FM.
And like, just a little not backtracking, but just going back a little bit of your performance specifically. You went back to back with Hello DJ at a boiler room party.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
This year, right?
Yeah, that was a big warehouse event, big boiler room warehouse party. It was like a collaboration with Lights Down Low and Boiler Room. Um, I had played Lights Down Low a few times, over the years. So when I heard through the grapevine that they were doing something with Anthony Parasol, I kind of jumped at the chance to see if I could open. Um, this is before I knew it was going to be a boiler room event, and then yeah. So once I found out it was going to be a boiler room thing, they mentioned they had reached out to They Them DJ, aka Hello DJ, to
Oh
perform.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, it's same person.
yeah, same person. It's a
Oh,
good friend of
I
mine.
I recently met Luke. Yeah, right?
Yeah, Luke is They Them DJ, formerly Hello DJ, and
Okay.
they do a party called Directory. Um,
Yes, yes.
so
They just had their 3-year anniversary party with Seal from Discwoman, I
right,
believe.
yeah, yeah. Did you go to that?
I did not, but I attended Santiago Salazar Santuario show on Dublab,
Uh huh.
and Seal was there, and also they them DJ.
Oh, cool.
They were just there hanging out, and I met them. I went with Annika Wolf,
Oh yeah, she's dope. Yeah, cool.
Annika and our homie Elia. Yeah, Elia and Annika. We pulled up and we said what's up to them. They were there and met Santiago for the first time,
Yeah,
so
shout
that was
out
pretty cool.
Annika Wolf, and also big shout out to
Yes.
Santi Salazar. That's the big homie for sure.
Yes. Yeah, are you gonna go to their Annika's birthday party, December 13th?
Yeah, on Santi's playing
Birthday
that
with
too,
Fame.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, that's one party I can't wait for.
yeah, I'm stoked.
And another person that I admire is Silent Servant. You got to play with him for the Wax Stacks Records Fair last month, October.
Right, yeah, that was a cool little record fair that our friends at well, they have a crew called Private Selection. It was a record fair that they organized at the space that they kind of operate now called the Shed. It looks like a big barn or something. That place is
Yeah,
cool.
I think the first Observe party they had it there.
Yeah, yeah, they've been doing a lot of events there. But yeah, I played with Juan. I've played with Juan a few times over the years. He's played Black Lodge. Um, he played Black Lodge maybe 4 years ago. He's a good friend of mine and just an amazing talent, just all around. That's an LA legend right there for sure.
Yes, Silent Servant. And I recently found out that he used to go as Jasper. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Jasper. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, Dean Paul told me that he used to go as Jasper, and I was like, wow.
How long ago was that?
Hmm. Fuck. I wouldn't know to be honest, but he said it was a while back. It was like his before he was going as silent, servant. So, but it was a while
Okay.
back. And then I went online. I put Silent Servant Jasper, and yeah, and it goes as formerly known as Jasper, or he used to go as Jasper.
Oh, cool. I'll have to bug him
Pretty
about
interesting.
that next time I see him.
And but that event with where you play with Silent with Juan, you also did a collaboration T-shirt with Obey. So how
Yeah,
did that?
that's
Or
right.
well, it was the Black Lodge and Obey, correct?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so our good friend and previous Black Lodge guest, Justin Long, did a like a kind of like a clothing line or like a is like a t-shirt um, collaboration thing with Obey earlier this year, and they had a launch party for the for Justin Long's like kind of clothing line collab thing with Obey. The party was at Chewing Foil, and Justin asked Vigas and I to come and DJ, and that's how we first linked up with Obey. Um, and we met some of the people behind Obey at that party, and they were fans of Black Lodge. They were really into what we were doing. So yeah, that was how that relationship started, and then we've been they've been coming to our parties, and then just the idea was proposed of doing a run of Black Lodge T-shirts using some of the artwork from our third release. Um, and yeah, Obey, they were totally down with it, and they printed up a bunch of shirts, two different designs, and yeah, they look great. Super stoked on how the collab went, and yeah, I hope we can keep working with them in the future. They're super down to earth guys, and I've been a fan of kind of Obey since you know man, early 2000s and whatnot. Um, and then I kind of stopped hearing about them for a while, and then fast forward to now, and they're kind of in this phase of like maybe like rebranding a little bit. They're kind of relaunching, um, in certain aspects, and it's cool that that they reached out to us to collaborate and whatnot. So yeah, that's really cool.
Um, do you have any like maybe special releases that are like again special to you? Like any maybe cool backstories? Any Black Lodge releases that are special to you?
I mean, the Black Lodge releases. We've done three so far on vinyl, as well as I believe another tape release with Balance Angel. That's a collab project with Future Blondes and Bill Converse. Yeah, the Black Lodge releases. The first two were compilations with tracks from previous guests, as well as a few of the Black Lodge, well, all the Black Lodge residents, I should say. We all had tracks on there. Um, this third one is a split between Balance Angel, um, it's Future Blondes and Bill Converse, and then on the other side is Circling Vultures, which is a collaboration project with Justin Long and this other guy, Ken Zawacki. Um, yeah, that's the most recent one we've done. Um, as far as one that's more special to me, they're all great. You know, we've, you know, over the course of getting these tracks together and making them, we've been playing the music out at the parties a lot over the years, and I think that's maybe the most special part of it for me is just playing these tracks from friends and from our crew and seeing the crowd response and whatnot. And we've gotten really good feedback from other people that have been playing them out in other places. So yeah, I'm super stoked with how things have gone as far as the Black Lodge Recordings label. It's mainly curated by Vikas. He's got a great ear as far as putting these things together. So I'm stoked with.
Yeah, and then just the whole style and the whole like I don't know like vibe that you guys give off is just so badass. I'm like, dude, I'm like the Black Lodge is dope.
It's badass, bro. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
like for reals, like it's like I don't know, man. You guys like it's just I don't know, it like really has that authentic underground, and I'm guessing all of you guys are from the LA area, right? Or like
Uh,
surrounding areas.
well, I met Vikas in Santa Barbara. I believe he's originally from Ohio. I know he spent some time in New York as well. He's been in the game for much longer than I have. Um, I know that he's told me stories of he was a promoter in New York in the mid to late '90s doing techno parties and whatnot. So he's got a lot of experience, booking underground parties and whatnot. I remember him also telling me that he used to book punk shows as well in Ohio and stuff. So he's got a long history with with the underground, quote unquote. So yeah.
And and I'm guessing of course you've seen the I guess the evolution of the electronic music scene in Los Angeles, evolve and everything. What are like maybe some of the main distinctions between like then and now, if you can recall any of them?
Yeah, as far as like house and techno stuff specifically in LA, I've heard from people that, the past, I don't know if you could say maybe like 6 years or whatever, there's definitely been a huge like growth, um, as far as more promoters doing events and more parties. And, um, now you'll see like weekends where there's, two, three, four parties in the same night. A lot of
Oh
big
yeah, yeah,
names
yeah.
playing every weekend. Right now, we're definitely like super spoiled. In my opinion, it's kind of. I mean, I don't really have a basis for comparison because I've never been. But if I could imagine like what, like Berlin or like another notable city with a strong electronic music scene, I think LA may be kind of on par with that. Just, I mean, there's so
Okay.
many
Yeah.
people doing cool stuff, so many like creative people doing great events and whatnot. So it's a really good time to be you know um, in the city and you know a part of that. Either as just a patron or performer. It's a great time to be in LA for sure. But as far as back in the day, and specifically the house and techno scene, I couldn't really tell you so much about that. When I mean my first experiences raving in LA were drum and bass and jungle and to a lesser extent like IDM and also breakcore and stuff like that. Um, and there were outside of a few club nights. And it was like warehouse parties and whatnot. But that scene I think has always kind of been strong in LA. Um, but yeah,
And so do you consider yourself a raver? Like if somebody says, "Are you a raver?" What do you say? Yeah, hell yeah. What do you just say?
I would say yes in the classic sense. And I mean, when I was younger, I had the big kickwear pants and stuff. Uh,
Did you? You had the baggy pants?
I did, yeah. And some of my friends wore them too. It
Fuck
was
yeah.
yeah. Thankfully, there's no pictures of that floating around.
But I
Um,
always say that like even the baggy like clothes, that was even in the skateboard culture too. Like 90s baggy like pants, baggy tees. So it's almost kind of goes hand in hand. So it
I would
wasn't just
just
ravers.
just say mainstream fashion. I mean, I remember a lot of the hip hop people and just it was popular to wear baggy clothing back then.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, the baggy raver pants, was definitely a moment in time, like fashion wise, that I know a lot of people my age, maybe older, we're not going back to that anytime soon. Uh,
No, I'm
but,
hoping somebody pulls up with those pants one time. Please. I need to see that. I need to see
well,
that.
I see kind of a resurgence with the kind of old school techno with like some of the younger ravers now. They're getting really into like the faster techno and ravier stuff, trance and whatnot. Seems to be, yeah, seems to be. Well, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. It's a trance and hard techno, fast techno seems to be making a comeback now. I do sometimes see some of these younger kids wearing like candy, like the bracelets or like sometimes I'll see the big pants. Um, but yeah, I for as far as for me, for a guy that was wearing that stuff back in like the early 2000s, late 90s. Like I'm done. You're not gonna catch me wearing kickwear. Maybe for Halloween or some shit.
And the blue hair. You need to pull up with the blue hair one time.
Oh man, I can't really do because I started losing my hair a little bit a couple years ago, so I can't really grow it out anymore. Now I just buzz it and shave it and
Fuck
call
it.
it a
Fuck
day.
it. It's just gonna be the head then, just
Dye my head blue. Yeah, maybe. Watch out. You never know.
That'd be tight. That'd be tight. But do you have any like dream collaborations? Like music production wise, like you would want to collaborate with somebody that it's kind of like up there, like dream, please.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm having lately. I've been doing like kind of more like low key, casual kind of jam sessions with like some of my friends in the scene here. There's different DJs and whatnot. As far as like a big name collab who I would like love to work with in the studio. Shit, I don't know. Maybe like DJ Stingray or something.
Ooh, yes. That'd
Yeah,
be tight. I can see that. I can see you and him. That'd be fucking tight.
yeah, that guy's like been a huge inspiration for me over the years. I got to meet him a couple times. Vigas and I did a show with him. We opened for him at Vessel. I think it was 3 years ago. Um, Super down to earth guy. One of the best. I mean, one of the best DJs. Around. Right now, that guy's amazing. Amazing, for sure.
Yeah, he's
Um,
playing Lights Down Low New Year's Eve party.
oh, I didn't know that. Dang, I might have to go.
Yeah, same. I was like, dude.
Oh, have you seen him before or no?
No, I haven't. Never, never. I've seen his boiler room like YouTube videos, but never. I've never seen him.
Oh man, he's incredible. He's so good. Yeah, highly recommend you go check him out if you can, for sure. But yeah, as far as
Did you meet him without his mask on or with the mask on?
I did, I talked to him briefly. He was just without the mask on. Um, yeah, he's just he's a pretty regular guy, but when he puts that mask on, you better watch out. The guy he means business behind the decks for sure.
I'm like, we were talking about partying, and I kind of wanted to like, kind of touch in on this. I'm not sure if I got it correctly, but is it right that you're 8 years sober?
Yeah, I got sober in 2011. Yeah, I've 8 years clean in October last month. Yeah, so long story short, a few years before I got heavy into the drinking, it was everything. And then for a few years just drinking, and then I had to throw in the towel. It was it's kind of ruining my life. So personally, for me, I mean it was one of the best decisions I've made. I think. I don't think I'd be able to do anything that I'm doing now, um, you know, if I wasn't sober, you know. So
Yeah, because you and everybody else in the Black Lodge, you guys are straight like focused. You guys are straight, just full send, like just like being like productive. Music wise, gigs, releases. I'm like, oh man, you guys are all of you guys are inspiring. That's why when I saw it, I'm like, dude, I gotta have to ask him. Like, that's tight. I'm always curious, when somebody kind of like, decides to, go sober or something. Like one of my good friends, he's gone more than a year
uh huh,
without smoking bud.
uh huh,
It's always kind of like, damn, respect, brother, respect.
yeah,
Because it's basically like self control. It's just really like tapping into a self control.
yeah. I feel that. I don't know. For me, I didn't really have any other options at that point. I was pretty down and out when I decided to get clean. But there's not there. I've met a few people here and there in the scene that are sober and are able to make it work. I've definitely noticed. I mean, there's more of this kind of a positive trend towards DJs being concerned more about self care as far as their mental health and their physical health and whatnot. And every now and then you'll see big name DJs talk about how they've gone sober or like kind of drastically. scaled back their partying and whatnot, and I think that's cool. I think to each their own. I mean, I definitely understand why people enjoy partying, but it's good that you know people can be out there and do it without you know partying and whatnot, and kind of set an example for other people in the scene that may not be aware that that's something that you can do. You know.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah, because it's inspiring. Again, it's inspiring because I feel like currently, I'm always getting. I think I feel like I'm getting burnt out. So I'm just like, I need to just chill out. Really kind of like just go on a sober trip or something. Just kind of like you know, I guess find. I don't even know how to say, like, not inspiration, but find, like, appreciate me going out again. And it just become a mundane thing of just blocking out feelings or something. With the substance or something.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, whatever you feel comfortable with, man. I mean, sometimes it's good to take a little break here and there and kind of reassess things and whatnot. You know, um, I mean, I don't know. Partying is fun, but it can definitely take a lot out of you. You know,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah,
And
I'm just happy to be still able to do what I do and be sober, and it's worked for me.
but yeah, congrats.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And what do you see in your future? Like, what more do you want to, or do you hope to accomplish as an artist?
Um, just moving forward, and but as far as the same direction, I'm currently going, with working with Black Lodge and my crew, and kind of continuing to get better, as far as making music, and hopefully I'll be lucky enough to continue releasing music, and playing more shows and whatnot. Couple ideas for other projects. I don't know whether I'll have time to to start another project and move in another direction, but I do have some kind of ideas for different stuff, to do in other genres as well. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of stay focused and keep moving forward, and you know maybe try to push myself a little bit more. Um, but yeah, that's you know as far as things going
Any
forward. Yeah, what were we saying?
any new sire performances that you can maybe hint, or maybe we can expect?
Um, the last one I did was in August, I believe, at this venue called Coaxial, downtown. It's a venue primarily focused on providing a space for people doing like experimental electronics, and not so much dance music and whatnot. Yeah, my last new sire set was there. I don't really have any plans as of yet to do any more sort shows with that, but I mean, who knows? Um, I think I might try to put out, like, maybe release some recordings under that alias at some point. Maybe another cassette release, maybe a short run of cassettes or something. Got a couple ideas as far as local people, other noise artists that I might maybe collaborate with. So we'll see. At that right now, it's kind of I'm more focused on the force placement stuff, and also doing stuff with these punk bands that I'm playing in. So New Sire is kind of not on the back burner, but not the main focus at this point. But who knows? We'll see.
That's tight. And then what are the bands that you play in?
I have one band that I just started playing with maybe 4 months ago. Um, with my good friend Ori. He makes music, electronic music as lower tar. The band's called Body Fluid, um, and I have another band that is more or less just me and my other friend Evan, who makes electronic music as Gossamer. It's just he and I doing kind of a hardcore punk thing. It's called Viral Attack. Um, that one's not so active at this point, but Body Fluid, we um, we play pretty regularly. We have another show coming up on the 24th, I believe, at the Smell. Um, so yeah, both those projects, it's mainly people that do electronic music that are also playing punk. We're not, um, yeah, we're not really full time punks, I would say, um, in the traditional sense. I mean, I'm more of a raver, but I love playing punk. I love playing drums. And the other people I'm in these groups with, they're on the same tip. So that's the main reason why I think it works. Yeah.
And when's the next Black Lodge party in December? Because I think this comes out what December 9th. So I'm not sure if there's any like December parties for the Black Lodge.
We have a bigger Black Lodge party in December that I can't announce yet, but it's going to be big. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, by the time this is out, this party will have already happened. We're doing a party on November 23rd with Sir and I, um, Ernestus Sadow from Digital Tsunami, this other group called S Product, and this other guy Nihar from the Bay Area. And that's going to be on November 23rd. Um, but yeah, December is going to be hot. I can't put the word out just yet. It's going to be ready, be on the lookout, keep your eyes peeled, as they say.
Do you have any like advice, for like artists and stuff? You're a well-rounded person, so is there any advice that you give to upcomers?
Oh shit, man. No. No, I'm not. At this point, I would say, I've been extremely fortunate to be able to do what I do. But I would still consider myself kind of um, it's really early in the game for me, both with DJing, um, as a full time, or not a full time, but as a primary focus of mine, and also making and releasing music. So at this point, I don't know that I'd have any good advice to impart um, for people that are getting into the scene. I guess other than I don't know, just really
Buy Black Lodge records.
yeah, buy those Black Lodge records. That's the advice I'm gonna give you. Yeah, buy all of them.
Hey, the for DJs, if they're like bumping that, they for sure have some dope records. So hey, that's a proper sound advice. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people seem to dig them. So yeah, I hope we can keep moving forward with that and keep putting out good music and stuff for for DJs and for the heads. Just kind of try to keep doing
yeah,
it for
for
the
sure, for
heads.
sure. And then, is there anything else worth mentioning in the this interview or in this conversation? Or do you
Uh,
want like what do you want people to know or at least get out of all this information?
what do I want them to know? Uh, I think we've covered a lot. I don't know that there's anything else that I would want to bring to the table at this point. Yeah, just keep an eye out on the Black Lodge. On our Facebook, Instagram. For we're gonna be celebrating 5 years in March of 2020. Um, More details on that will be available soon. But yeah, got some good stuff in the pipeline, I believe. Um, so yeah, just keep an eye out. Black Lodge Facebook page, Black Lodge Instagram. I also have a separate Facebook page for force placement stuff.
You use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Resident Advisor?
I think I have a resident advisor page up. I'm not sure. I don't go on there that often. Um, Instagram is under F Place 85. Twitter should be Jasonius Funk. Um, and then I have a SoundCloud just under Force Placement. Yeah, and then I just did a tape on 100% Silk. It's like an
Oh yeah,
album,
yeah.
cassette album that came out a few weeks ago, but that is available on Bandcamp, and it's Force Placement on Bandcamp, just forceplacement.bandcamp or whatever. Um, so yeah,
And also Black Lodge has a Bandcamp?
Black Lodge does have a Bandcamp. Um, I believe it is just blacklodge.bandcamp. Um, and yeah, there's you can buy records there and t-shirts are also available. The new tape, the new Balance Angel tape cassette release is also available, and there's also digital downloads available as well. But yeah, that's blacklodge.bandcamp.com.
Sick. Hell yeah. So everybody make sure to go on the Bandcamp, support the Black Lodge, support Force Placement, check out his stuff. All him and the rest of the Black Lodge collective are holding it down for the LA scene, the LA underground scene. So thank you, man. Appreciate all the content and everything that you and the rest of the Black Lodge crew are doing.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much for reaching out. This was really cool.
Yeah, no, because this ends the year, so I wanted to end with somebody like they're really like doing it. So I'm like, dude, I'm like Force Placement.
Oh man, that's really nice of you to say. I'm super happy that you reached out, and thank you for yeah, for all that, for interviewing me.
No, but yeah, so um, that was basically it. This is the Beyond Normal Days Force Placement episode.
Cool.
So
See you.
thank you, man.
Thank you.